Join me today as we plant our onions. Hey guys, welcome back to Horticulture Geek. I'm Ray. Thank you so much for joining me today here in the garden. It has been about a little over a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, since my last video went out where we prepared the ground here right behind me for our onions. If you have not watched that video yet and you're looking at how to plant onions in your garden, go back and watch that video. I will link it right here. And then in that video, I literally talked about how I was preparing the ground for my onions. Onions are heavy feeders, and onions, as you know, bulb out. When the onion you buy in the store is a big onion, right? Well, you've got to let that onion have room to grow. And in order to do that, you've got to have nice, loose, fluffy soil so that the onions can expand. So I prepared this ground. It is ready to plant in. We have got it broken up. It is loose. It is fluffy. We have added compost. We have added new fresh soil into here. We have added fertilizers. We have added biotone fertilizer and got this thing packed out. Onions are heavy feeders. So when you plant them, you want to make sure your soil is full of good nutrients so that they can grow. Because right now, when I'm planting the onions, I'm focusing on two things. When the onion gets planted, it needs to get roots in the dirt and get shoots in the sky. And the better shoots you have and the better roots you have, come the middle part of summer, then it's going to put all that rest of that energy into getting you some big, beautiful onions. So you need good nutrition in your soil. So biotone starter fertilizer, that focuses on our roots. And then I've got plant tone in here that focuses on our tops, and then a general compost and fresh potting soil. So we are ready to go. So I'm going to turn this camera around in just a second, and we're gonna go ahead and get planting here. Planting an onion is super easy, but I wanna tell you what varieties I've got going this year. I've got 3 different things going this year. So my first bundle here, this is actually a short day sampler. And this comes from Dixondale Farms. All right, so the short day sampler that I have here, this is a mix of 3 different onions. I have a red sweet, a Texas white, and a 1015. That's just the name of an onion. It's a yellowy onion, okay? So I've got white, red, and yellow in this short day sampler. If you don't have a lot of room to grow or you're not sure what you're gonna do, you may not wanna get a huge order at first. So Dixondale Farms makes these sample bundles where you get a few of 3 different varieties. This is a short day sampler. Onions, you have short day, long day, or intermediate. And you're gonna wanna look at where you are, your address, your location, determines if you need short day, long day, or intermediate. Here in Arkansas, I am going with short day onions or intermediate. Up north, you go with long day onions, okay? Dixondale has all that information on their website, or you can Google it. Super easy to figure out. It's as easy as figuring out your growing zone, right? You just Google your zip code and you can figure all of that out. So that is my short day sample pack. And I got that because I really wanted to try the 1015s and the Texas whites, but didn't really feel like I wanted a whole bundle, okay? The next thing that I have is a whole bundle of Southern Belle Reds. All right, so Southern Belle Reds. So these are a sweet red onion. And then my third bundle out of the box, grab a hold of that, are my yellow granics. So these are just a good yellow onion. This is exactly what you're gonna find in supermarkets and grocery stores, and 1015s are also very commonly grown for commercial use as well. So there are my varieties that I am growing this year from Dixondale Farms. So now that I've rambled on here a minute, let's get these in the ground so that we can get our onions going. It is a little bit late. I need to get these in the ground so that they can start growing for me. Here we go. Okay, so what you just saw me do is the beauty of having worked loose, rich soil is you are able to take your onion set, and you see here, you can see that there's the roots, there's the oniony bulb part, and then right here is where the green starts, right? So all you want to do is take your onion, and you can just literally use your finger if you need to, but then just put it right down into the hole. And we just want to cover the bulb and the roots. We don't want to cover too much of our green stem part. So you see there, we're just barely covering the oniony bulb part, just barely covering it. We're just getting the rest of that down in the ground so it can do its thing. And then you saw me come through and I made a little trench with my hand, and I put some fertilizer in that trench in between my two rows, and I covered that back up. That is going to ensure that these onions have all the food they need to grow. So now I've got to do the same thing here. I've got to do a little trench between these rows, fertilizer, backfill. Do another row, do a fertilizer row, another row, a fertilizer row. So that is how onions get planted. So give me a few minutes and we will get all this knocked out. All right, so I've got all the onions planted. I did my fertilizer trenches down the middle of my rows. I didn't put a lot of that on camera because you saw me do it at the front, and it's just a very repetitive process. Nobody needs to see the whole thing being put in. But then I came in and I watered it. Obviously, you're gonna water any new crop, get good moisture so that the fertilizer can start mixing up into the soil. The roots can suck up the water that the plant needs to start growing and setting roots, and also to settle out the soil around all my new onion plants. So I gave it a good, healthy drink, really saturated the ground so that all that soil could really shift in and make sure my onion sets are in there really good. Let's flip the camera around and take a look at what we got. So there you have it, guys. There is my onion crop for 2024. All right, so onion planting 2024. I am so excited to have that project done. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I am a little bit late because I'm warm enough to do this here now. If you guys are up north, probably not quite time to do this yet, depending on where you're at. But just check with your local garden centers or gardening friends or Google, but just getting very close. Onions go into the ground while it's cold outside. because we have to start with root development. Roots will grow even in cold weather, which is again why I put personally the Biotone starter fertilizer into the soil. I want to give the roots what they need to start growing and get set into that soil, and that's what Biotone does. Now my tops are not, the tops are going to start growing now, but they're not going to like super duper grow, but that's okay. That's why I'm putting them in the ground now while it's cool. The tops won't really start to grow yet. It's too cool. The roots will. So in 4 or 5 weeks, when winter is done, we're nearing our last frost dates and all that stuff. Just like seed starting inside, these are going to be in the ground with established roots ready to grow, and those tops can start shooting up. And once those tops shoot up and get to good size, then the plant is going to start focusing on building that onion for me. So that's why we do this now in cooler temperatures. So if you are interested in growing onions and you've never done it before, again, check around you. I'm in zone 7B8A, Central Arkansas. It's time to do it right now, 2 weeks ago to right now, February. So February is our time to do that here in the South, 7B8A. And again, I did want to mention, I did get these from Dixondale Farms. You can see that right there, Dixondale Farms. And the varieties that I got were the Yellow Granix, the Southern Belle Red, and the Short Day Sampler, because I am a short to intermediate day here in the kind of middle of the United States. So middle down is short day, middle up is long day, and there's a swath there that is intermediate. Okay, so, and you do want to choose the right onions for your climate. If I were trying to do long day onions here, I mean, they would grow a little bit, but they're never going to do what I need them to do. They're not going to have the conditions they need to give me a big, beautiful onion that I can use in the house. And the good thing about Dixondale Farms, if you've never ordered from them, they do send you a planting guide. So if you want a paper, something to read and study, it comes with a planting guide right in the box that ships right to your door. It's wonderful, wonderful company. So, and this is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I bought these onions to put in the garden. So, but I just know that Dixondale is a really good company for me to use. And there are many other wonderful companies out there as well. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, getting these onions in the ground. If this is something you want to tackle, get out there onto the internet, see if you can find you some onion sets. If you don't want to order onion sets online, Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, local garden centers, Ace Hardwares, all of those big box stores or local garden centers, they have these in their stores right now. Down here in the South, and if they're not in stores right now up north, they are coming within a matter of weeks because it's time to do it. So be adventurous, get out there, you can do this. Onions are a very easy crop to grow, and you can grow them, just keep them fed. They like their food, so you got to keep them fed. We dose them up real high to plant them, and every 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to apply more fertilizer to these onions to keep them going, to really give them the energy to produce that onion that I need. The wind is catching my camera here. Okay, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I've had a fun afternoon getting these in the garden. Like I said earlier in some videos, February is a busy garden month, so I hope you're out in your gardens working and doing things and having some peace and pleasure out there in nature. If you have enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave that down below. And until next time, from my garden to yours, I wish you all the best and happy gardening.